Hi and welcome back to my channel and my outdoor timber frame fireplace build, part 2. The winter weather has returned to our part of Sweden. I was anticipating some more snow before winter is over, but when we had those warm and sunny days I just decided to start anyway, although it's a bit early in the year to do so. In the last video I built the sill. That's the 4 logs that sits as a square on the ground that everything else will be built up from. I also did the corner posts. So that's where we are taking off from in this video. And since I'm shooting over several days, we'll start with some nice sunny weather. I hope you'll enjoy it. If you do so, don't feel afraid to subscribe to my channel. Alright, let's go. I'm leveling the sill with some rocks before I start building up from it. And I'm using a really sophisticated way to adjust the corners. This is one of the cross beams for the frame. The notches will join it to the posts as well as to the plates. That's not exactly standard procedure, but I'm building this without any plans and trying out some ideas. I use the axe as much as possible to remove the waste wood from the notch. Once you learn how to use it, you find it's actually the quickest way, and also very enjoyable. Then I use a chisel in the end to smooth out the bottom and the sides of the notch. I level the post's tenon with a water level, so I can line up the notch in the top with it. That way, the notches will be aligned with the sill and receive the crossbeam as intended. The width of the posts has to be 3 inches along the notch. That's the width of the notches on the crossbeams. Next time I went up to the camp, we had received some new snow, and the wind was pretty chilling. But I had another crossbeam and 2 more posts to notch, so I didn't let that bother me. This time I decided to adjust the tops of the posts before cutting the notches. I also decided not to cut the outline of the notches with a saw first, since I didn't really find it that helpful last time. You develop your methods by trying stuff out along the way, and that's the way it should be. I'm using the sill as an assembly area, so the posts and the crossbeam from last time have to get out of the way. No problem taking them apart, since I marked them. Some last-minute adjustments have to be expected on a project like this. I'm putting the first pieces back on top of the new ones. I don't really know why. Just felt like tidying up the camp, since I was done for the day. More snow still on the next day at the camp, and I was heading out to get some sticks. The wet downfall had frozen the logs together. Not an ideal season to do these sort of things. I'm laying the pieces out to raise them onto the sill. That's why I needed some sticks. You'll see how I'll use them in a minute. The sticks will act as temporary braces or support legs during the raising process. That allows me to let go of things when I need to, without it falling down again. Now that the first bent is in place, I can tie the support sticks to the posts more securely. I'm referring to a pair of posts and a crossbeam as a bent. I'm not sure if that's proper terminology, but I'm gonna call it that. I'm using a plumb bob, trying to adjust the posts so they stand straight. I'm doing my best here, but I'll have to check it again before I put the braces in the framework. These short sticks will stabilize the construction temporarily. I know it's not perfect, but at least it will keep it from falling over until I find time to make the plates. A few days later and I'm back at the camp again. Nothing had fallen over in the wind. So now I'm making the plates that will connect the crossbeams to each other. I forgot to bring the draw knife from the workshop this time, so I'm using the bark spud instead. Although I prefer the draw knife, it's nice to use the bark spud too. It's a nice vintage tool with a good hardened blade. These notches are so narrow that you can't get an axe in there, so I'm using the chisel straight away. I cut away on the sides of the plate to make it fit on top of the crossbeam. I have no idea what this is called in English, but a direct translation of the Swedish term would be something like necking or throating. My Swedish vintage carpenter axe is perfect for this kind of work. I'm very glad I found it, and at a reasonable price too. The forge, once located in the village of Handhewn, doesn't exist anymore. And known for their high quality and outstanding design, many consider Handhewn axes to be a bit of a holy grail for axe collectors. I'm more of a user than a collector myself. But that sort of stuff tends to run hand in hand if you prefer vintage tools. Well, there it stands. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you haven't seen the first one, I'll put a link to it up here so you can watch that as well. In the next video I'm gonna add the bracing to the structure, and those braces will also carry the ridge beam for the roof. It's an interesting way of constructing it. I've seen it some time back in a Norwegian Timberframe build. I wish I could remember where I saw it. I think it was in a book that I forgot the name of. And I'll also add some walls from the sill up to raise the fireplace a bit. So I hope you will be back for that. Until then, thanks for watching and take care of yourselves. I'll see you.